Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Just setting up. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Let me just. So, how's everyone doing on a Thursday evening? I can see there's a few of you who've already joined in on the platform. If you're there, feel free to say hi. So, I know you're there. Let me just see what's happening on YouTube. There's a couple of people watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit the link in the description that'll take you to our platform, and you can join in live and interact with us. Nicholas here. Discord's also open, so you guys can join in on Discord and say hi.
Hey Don, what's up?
Hi, Nikhil. Ibnu is here. Devendra. Ibnu, were you here yesterday? Is Ibnu there in chat? Can you let me know if you guys are there? We'll get started. We're just waiting for a few more people to tune in, and then we'll probably get started. If you're here, join in, say hi. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to be playing with some music. I've been making some music on Live 11. Some fun things have been happening, so we'll be playing around with that for sure. So yeah, settle in. Oh, Devendra is on Discord. Hi, Devendra. We need to clean up the chat on Discord.
Is there a quick way to flush it or like message by message?
Message by message, unfortunately.
Alright.
Akshay is here. Akshay, our faithful viewer and listener. How's it going, Akshay? So yeah, how's everyone? Dave, can you hear me? You're in. Oh yeah, you said hi. How's everyone's Thursday evening? For those of you in Bangalore, it's raining quite nicely. Pretty ood eating dinner. Ooh, I'm also feeling hungry. I want to eat dinner soon. Wanlam is here, Binu is here. All right, maybe we can chill with some music. There's a couple of more songs that people have submitted. Also, I logged into my Spotify today, so we can play some of the Spotify songs. What music have you made? I made some random music. I just put some sections together, and we will go through the music that I made. So we will definitely do that. We'll listen to some music, listen to some of the Spotify songs that we couldn't listen to yesterday while people join in. And then we'll get into some of the music I made, and we'll start breaking that down and play around with some of the new effects. There's some pretty fun things that I was trying out on Live 11, so we'll try that out with some music. That should be fun. Right. Yeah, let's start with okay. Let's start with Arjun's track. This is my first track called Inception. It's a hip hop track. Okay. I think they should, yeah.
You know how it is trying to make an entrance. You know how it is trying to get the essence. I know how it is trying to get the beat right. I know how it is trying to make the knee strike. You know how it is tripping on the little drop. You know how it is jumping on the seesaw. I know how it is flexing to the beat prop. I know how it is stepping up the hip hop. You know what it is, stop it to the beat drop. Rising through the heat, trying to make the heat stop. Rolling with my G's in my wicked sick jet. Wishing I don't make you all break a little sweat. Let the phantom ride through on the airstrip. Can't you fellas see this is my second trip? Been a while now, I'm trying to make an entrance. On the down now, you got it on the pension. Vibing with my G, let it know my reason, please. DJ 30, yeah, you got the little golden key. You know how it is, trying to set my mind straight. Tripping on the little sucker, fuck a mood trade. Don't you know me, the players got me OG. Let you get your traders, none of y'all can slow me. Can't you see me, I'm just trying to be me. Sucker, fucker, haters, all of y'all can blow me. Let it loose on the mic's my therapy. Pumping iron with my fist, it's my vanity. Tripping on the sicker beat, don't play me. Flipping through the wicked tweets, don't change me. Set free the melodies and little trees. Can't you see the fitty killer bees? Don't you please forget the million little please. On my knees, the tricky devotees. On my knees, you got me lying on my knees. All the mother suckers have a little fucking cheese. Hoping please, they be going enemies. Trying to battle through it all like I'm Lebanese. Hella key, fuck, how you doing, pretty girl? Come ahead to the back, my city bird. Flexing with my silver shoes in my phantom. All black leathers in it for the magnum. Got me burning rubber on the little driveway. DJ tidy up on another highway. Pulling out the heli demon on the racetrack. Whipping with the sacred beast to the soundtrack. Quarter miles got me seeing fucking short alive. Waiting with the demon got me seeing border style. You know how it is trying to get your vibe right. You know how it is trying to get your tribe right.
All right, so that was Inception by Chain Gang Mafia, aka Arjun Anil Raj. That was a fun song. This one's so cool. Yes, that's a pretty cool song. Really nice old school hip hop vibes with those 808s. I think there's some comments here. Guess Akshay likes the 808s. Let's move on to another song. Devendra Chandra accidentally created this. Let's see what Devendra accidentally made. Nice. So that was Revive. Ooh. That was Revive by Dave. Dave, you want to tell us a little bit about? I think this is the same Dave that is in Discord right now. Dave, you want to tell us a little bit about the track that you made? Have to wait for the delay to kick in. Anyway. Spinny is typing. Anyway, that was an interesting track from Dave. I think we'll play maybe another track or two. Yeah, Mahin's music. We weren't able to open on Spotify yesterday, so let's try it today. Yes, we're experimenting on Ableton 10. Nice. Yeah, I think you put a prefix of light version. Yes, you only had the light version and you made this. I think you did that accidentally. This is light. Whole song created with 8 tracks and with limited features of the light version. Great stuff, man. Great stuff for, being restricted to just Live 11 and, Live Light and building from there. I know there are a lot of restrictions when you're working on light, but being able to pull something off with restrictions is always fun. Good stuff. All right, so let's go back to Mahin's music. Okay. So let's listen to this one, Nemo Casa. Awesome. So that was an interesting track by Mahin. Again, if you guys want to listen to this music, it's all there in the Post Your Music Ideas section on the Q&A forum. If you guys have music, make sure to post it. I will play them on stream, and we will talk about the music that you created. So interesting songs, very ambient, like the guitar parts, like the artwork, pretty trippy. So yes, again, guys, if you have music that you want to submit, that you want to share with us, make sure you share it on the platform. We will definitely listen to it and share. Oh, we have some more people who joined in. Gaurav has joined in. Hey, Gaurav. Make sure to say hi in chat. I will say hi back. All right, so down to the meat and beans of what we are here for today. We are looking at Live 11. I've made some music to play around with some of the new features, and let's go ahead and test them out. Hello, sir. Hey, Gaurav. Hope you're having a good Thursday evening. Today's Thursday. Yes, today's Thursday. All right, so Live 11. So I've just made some basic, I've just put some basic music together, and we are going to play around with it. I'm going to talk about what I made. Again, it's not really a song, it's just a bunch of kind of loops and sections that I just hammered in together, and a vocal line that I also recorded that we're going to play around with some of the new effects as well. All right, so let's give this a listen, and then we'll start playing around with it. All right, so it just keeps looping from there on. So let's go through the sections that I made. So this is just a normal drum kit that comes in the, I think I took this from the Beat Tools pack. Yeah, I took this from the Beat Tools pack. This is what that sounds like. Okay, then I have some percussive sounds over here. Okay, very straightforward pattern, no complicated pattern, because I'm going to use the probability function in Live 11 to really mess around with that timing and get some interesting sounds. The next instrument I'm using is this digital voice, which is really interesting. So this digital voice is part of a pack that came with Live 11, so I was playing around with it. I think it's called Voice Box. Yeah, here it is. So this was a pack that came with Live 11. There's a bunch of demo sets, instruments that you can play around with. So this is just full of different voices. You even have samples of a lot of people's voices. So there's different people's names, Abe, Fiona, Humphrey, and a bunch of voices. So some interesting voices that you can play around with. Stop playing. So This is a clip that I've taken. So we also have clips that are pre-made sounds put together. Right? So I took one of these clips and I put them over here. The interesting thing is now with Live 11, since we have these, since you can save like macro variations over here, you can actually change things around while it's playing. So this is the first snapshot, so when I'm playing, and I can switch between snapshots over here. So these are basically snapshots that are changing around my macros over here and causing new variations to occur. Let's stick to this one. This is nice and rhythmic. And I have just a bass line that I created over here, nothing fancy, just something on operator. Hey Abinu, good to see you joining in. Yeah, so those are just a couple of the instruments that I put together. I also added some vocals over here. They're vocals. It's not really much singing, but I'm planning on doing something very interesting with this. So I'll just play what I have, just so you can hear it. I'm testing out Ableton Live 11. Right? So just some basic vocals of me just saying I'm testing out Ableton Live 11. We're going to add some fun effects to this and really mess around with that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So a couple of things I want to change around is, let's start with these drums. So these drums are good. I'm pretty happy with what I made over here, but I like to add variations in my hi-hats. So let me just quickly loop that. And like we talked about yesterday is I can start adding variations to my velocity on my hi-hats. So I'm just going to select this. I'm going to bring down the velocity on everything. Okay, it's going to sound really low. Let's bring it down some more. And let's give it a range. So you can see all this happening over here. And I'll give it a range of and now you can hear how the hi-hats are breathing a little now because they're randomizing within that velocity range. Alright, so I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and let's just duplicate this throughout. See how it sounds with the rest of the music. Yeah, pretty interesting. Next thing is let's play around with some more probability. So I want to play around with this percussive section that I have. So right now it's pretty straightforward. Hey Mahin, thanks for joining in. Mahin, I actually played your music a little earlier. We were listening to your music. Great stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to play around with the probability on this percussive section. So right now when you're listening to it, it sounds very mundane, pretty straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use probability to, play around with this, mess around with this, and get some interesting sounds. So I'm just going to loop this one section. Let's take a look at this. And all right, so notice again at the bottom I have my velocity, I also have probability. Oops, too much. And in my probability, let's just go ahead and let's add some probability to this. So I'm just going to switch over to my pencil tool, and I'm just going to draw out a random snake. Let's see what happens. You can hear that already, like some variations are, coming in. Right, we're already getting some interesting variations. So let's keep building on that. So let's maybe play around with this. I'm just going to draw in variation because I want this sound to kind of play repeatedly. So maybe let me draw in a couple of variations up. So I'm going to draw some snakes over here. And let's listen to that. All right. Let's go to the next pattern. And let's do this. And let's see what happens. All right, we're getting some interesting sounds right now. And let's just do one more with this section. Let's actually add in this section more. So let's just do this. And now let's put in some variability over here. So let's do it the opposite. And again, I'm just randomly drawing in some probabilities. Let's listen to this. Okay, I'm going to put in some, let me change around the velocity over here. So let me play around with the velocity here as well. Get out of this. Oops. All right. Let's bring this down. Let's give it a range. And let's see how that sounds. All right, pretty interesting, right? Just by adding in those, just playing around with the probability and chance of velocity and the chance of the actual sound playing, you get some interesting sounds. Let's listen to the original, what it sounded like. So that's this one. Right, that's the original. And then by playing around with probability, this is what we got. And the great thing is now, every time this plays, it's always going to be something unique. It's always going to be something different, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this over because I like this. And let's listen to the whole thing now. Let's listen to the rest of the music, see what happens. All right, so pretty interesting, right? Having all those sections playing together. Let me take that off. Control plus L. Yeah, I had the loop on. Okay. I'll play with the rest of the section so you guys can hear it. Testing out Ableton Live 11, Live 11, Live 11, Live 11. I'm testing out Ableton Live 11, Live 11, Live 11, Live 11. All right, yeah, so that's pretty much what we got so far. We're gonna keep building up from here. Whoa, that ambulance and yeah, all the windows are open. We're getting a lot of ventilation and a lot of noise, so we're hearing the outside noise also. Gaurav asked, what's the shortcut for duplicating the edited MIDI clip? Command D. Command D if you're on Mac, Control D if you're on Windows. You can just duplicate over from there. Gautam SK Woo, thanks for tuning in, Gautam. Radio Mosky, thank you. Thank you, Radio Mosky. Is Radio Mosky? Mahin, maybe. Rocky Peace, how much you charge for independent music, sir? What do you mean by independent music? You want to learn like indie music? Do you want to learn how to play music? Or you're asking me how much I charge for making music for you? You'll have to clarify that. I'm not sure what you mean. Radio Mosky. Yes. Okay. Hey, Brian. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, so again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. Ask them in the chat. If you're in Discord, feel free to unmute yourself and ask me a question. No problem. I will answer your questions. All right. So we've played around with probability and chance a bit. That's a lot of fun. Always fun. I also have my trusty synth hooked up over here. I don't think you guys can see the synth. Can you guys hear the synth? All right. Anyway, so let's play around with our comping right now. I have the synth connected. We'll play a couple of lines with the synth, and let's see what we get. So let me just add a audio track. That was a MIDI track. Let's loop a section. So. Yes, you can hear that. Okay, awesome. Let's do a section just this long. So I'm just going to loop this. And let's record enable that. Synth is going into input 2, so let me just change that. All right, so I'm going to try playing some melody lines. Let's see what happens. Punch it in. Right, so I just recorded some random lines, played around. So now the problem you generally would have is, okay, if you want to choose the takes that you want, you would have to, stretch this out. listen to the whole thing, and choose what you want. But now with take lanes, what we can do is we can right click. I can open up my take lanes, and I can see all my takes over here. So I can listen to the last take that I have. My timing is impeccable. And I can also listen to the different takes that I just recorded. So let's listen to the different takes. All right, people are joining and leaving Discord. All right, so there is kind of a delay in my recording throughout. That's okay, we'll fix it as we're going through. So what I can do now is I can choose different sections. So let's say I like this intro over here, and I want to start with this note. I can just select that, hit enter, and see how it's been selected on top. So now when I play the line, okay, I know the timing is a little off, but we'll fix it, don't worry about that. Let's see if we can find some of it. Okay, let's see if we can find some. Okay, that's a little interesting. Maybe let's use this. All right. So now I have the takes that I want. I'm just going to close my take lanes. Let's select that whole thing. I'm just going to hit Control J, consolidate it into one audio file, and there's my new take, right? How easy is that? Just putting everything together on the fly. And since the entire thing is slightly off, I'm just going to go ahead and correct it. So I think the easiest way is for me to do it this way. Yeah. Right, so an easy way to just comp all your recordings together and see how fast that was. I was able to just record one section straight through and make all the changes accordingly. Now let's start adding some effects to this. So let's look at some of the new effects. Let's put some reverb on it. So hybrid reverb. Let's just dump that on there, see what happens. So a cool thing with hybrid reverb is hybrid reverb also has convolution as part of it. So you can actually do some interesting things. So for example, I can just drag this audio sample that I just recorded, or this audio file that I just recorded, and drop it straight in. So watch what happens. So I just dragged it straight in. Okay, I need to back up on that slightly. Let's probably put this in parallel. We have an EQ also, I can adjust the EQ. It's a really interesting sound you can get. So the reverb is being played. So you can actually hear the reverb trails, and it's almost like a delay that's going on because I'm using the same sound over here. So it's a little too much, so maybe I'll just reduce that a bit. Alright, let's maybe add some width to this. Let's maybe put a chorus ensemble on it. So now chorus is not just chorus anymore, so there are changes to chorus. So if you notice, I have chorus, classic ensemble, and vibrato all in one device. Let's see what that sounds like. Just fade it in a bit in the beginning. See what vibrato sounds like. And let's see how that sounds with the whole thing. All right. So an interesting way using our take lanes, we were able to do that. So now an interesting thing here is I still have my take lanes here. I can always just choose a section if I want to use it somewhere else, and I can just drag it into my track, and it comes right in. So take lanes are going to be super useful, especially for us who use a lot of audio tracks and who record a lot of audio, especially for guitars, vocals, for synths like what I just used right now. It's going to be very, very useful and really just helpful in the whole recording process. All right, again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. I'm just going to keep playing around and keep playing around with the different features. So feel free to ask questions in between. Don't feel shy. All right. Now, if you noticed, I have these vocals over here. So, as beautiful as my voice is, I would really like to do something with my voice. So a really, really interesting new effect is spectral resonator. And watch what happens when I drop spectral resonator on this group. I'm testing out Ableton Live 11, Live 11, Live 11. Akshay says, beautiful voice. Thanks, man, I know. My voice is amazing. So I can play it, I can start adding some effects over here. So I'm testing out Ableton Live 11, Live 11, Live 11, Live 11. I'm testing out Ableton Live 11, Live. Listen to that with the track. Right, some pretty trippy stuff over here. So now the even more fun thing with spectral resonator is, one sec, let me just loop this section. So spectral resonator is basically, it's kind of similar to vocoder, where it's going to run your sound through this kind of instrument / effect and resonate your harmonics basically. The interesting thing is you can make this work with MIDI. So I have a MIDI mode over here, right? So if I switch this to MIDI, and let me take an input from 6 MIDI that has nothing on it. Right? So now it's not playing anymore, but that's because I have to give it some input. So I have a controller over here. I'm going to, let's play around with this and see what happens. And make sure to arm that track so it receives the MIDI information. Let's go. Right, so that's pretty cool. You can actually, have your MIDI keyboard, play along with that, and have your keyboard actually trigger the sound. So something very similar to vocoder, but a lot deeper. Whoa, incredible. That opens up so many new ways of producing. Yeah, there is some really cool things you can do with these new effects in Live 11. You can have a ton of fun with these effects. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know, ask your questions, or I'm just going to keep playing around with these effects. We can add more effects to this. I just heard another message. Did they add auto-tune too? No, this isn't auto-tune. You can, it is similar to auto-tune in the sense, since you already put the scale feature, yeah. Yeah, but that's only for MIDI. Auto-tune is more for audio. So, I mean, auto-tune is for audio. So it isn't really like auto-tune, but if I'm not doing the MIDI input, if I'm just doing internal, I can set my frequency over here that it's resonating with. So So right now it's just playing on A, so it's just playing on that one key. But you can change that key and move it around, and you can actually have parts harmonizing with each other. So actually, yeah, we can test that out. So let's duplicate this a couple of times and see what happens. All right, let me take the effect off the group and just put it onto one of these. Whoa, okay, it's gonna be loud. Okay, so let's copy spectral resonator onto these other ones. And let me put it here also. So on the repeats, maybe I'll put it on A2 so it is a little higher. Yeah. Let's make this into a chord. So let's put this to C. Fine C. Yeah. And let's put this to E. Let's see what happens. Right? So, it's pretty fun. You can just create chords with your voice right there by using this. Or you can, play it around with it with the MIDI keyboard and actually add MIDI notes and get some really interesting sounds. What else do we got? Yeah, since Akshay, you brought it up, since they added the scale feature to MIDI, let's make a MIDI melody line really quick. So let's take a sound. Let's take a piano and keys. Why not? Mark II, always fun. All right, let's put in a MIDI clip. Let's make it 2 bars long. Let's just expand it over here. All right. So I know I'm working in an A minor, so I'll turn on the scale. Let's set this to A minor. So you can see how now all the notes of the A minor scale are highlighted over here in my clip view. If I set this to scale, it'll only give me the notes of the scale. And now literally what I can do is I can just turn on my pencil tool and right, and just make a melody. I made a melody line. I mean, it's gonna sound crazy, but right? Yeah, let's stick to the melody line. Let's play around with that. So let me just take this whole thing. Let me make it 4 bars long. And let's just take all the notes and let's double their length. Let's increase it here also. Oopsie. Let's change around some of these notes. I can hear Spinny's phone ringing in the background. Yeah, so if you guys thought it was easy to make melody lines before, it's even easier now. Let's dump a delay on this and see what happens. Actually, before the delay, let's try another audio effect. There's another spectral effect. We have spectral time. Spinny was offering a counter melody. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. So let's load up spectral time. Let's put this over here and watch what happens. So. Okay, let's give it some feedback. Let's set the notes. Let's give it just some stay. Let's have that repeat a couple of times so we can hear it. There's some interesting sounds. And another interesting thing you can do with this is, I have this freeze function over here. So I can actually freeze the effect. So now there's like way too much going on. But let's see what happens after everything comes together now. Right, some interesting sounds over there. Another effect I actually want to show you guys was pitch loop. Let's see if I can find that. There we go, pitch loop 89. So this is a Max for Live device that they added. And this adds some glitchiness to your sound, so let's do that. Let's put this on the synth lead that we have. So it's kind of a glitchy delay. Let's play around with some of the presets. Let's go with vocal spread, see what happens. Okay, it doesn't load properly. Let's try mod delay. Okay, so some crazy delay times. Let's try reverse audio. That sounds interesting. Okay, that's going to really mess around with timing. So let's not do that. Let's just stick to the vocal spread. Get that some stereo. Feedback a little. Yeah. So those are some of the new things that I wanted to play around with some music. Do you guys have any questions? Anyone in chat that has any questions? Anything you guys would like to know more about? Anything you think I missed and you want me to check out more? I'm also double checking my notes to see if I forgot anything. No one? All right, yeah, so I'm still waiting. A lot of the new instruments are not available on the beta yet. So still waiting for some of those instruments to come out. Once those instruments come out, then we can play around with them. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, what else? There's a couple of things that are still not in the beta. Let me check. Oops. Okay, let me just log into Center Core really quick. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of the content stuff is not included. That's a problem. MPE, I still want to show MPE. I'll wait another day or two and see if I can get a Rolly C-board. If I don't get a Rolly C-board, then we'll probably have to look at MPE just within the software and how we can manipulate it within the software. There are some stuff you can do on the push too, so I can show that. It won't be as exciting as using something like a Rolly C-board, obviously. But definitely, we'll play around with that and see what we can get. So hybrid, reverb, we tried out. Spectral resonator, tried out. Spectral time, tried out. Inspired by Nature is also, again, another group of instruments that I really want to try out that is not there on the beta yet. Tempo following, we can show off tempo following. Yeah, we'll probably show that off another day because I think we're just crossing an hour right now, so I don't want to take any more time on the stream. New instruments, again, not added. Curated collections, only voice box was added. Refined clip editing, CPU meter, keys and scales. Ooh, Redux. Redux phaser flanger doubler. Yeah, just we can look at that really quickly. Let's see, what can we put it on? Let's put it on this. So let's first look at Redux. So Redux has been reworked. Where would Redux be? Modulators? No. Dynamics? Where's Redux? It's in Dynamics. No, it's in Drive. Okay. So let's take it from Drive and drop it onto this. Let's see what happens. So that's the new Redux. So a bit more control on, if you want to get that kind of bit crusher sound, you have a lot more control as compared to before. And see how it sounds with the rest of the music. Alright, let's look at the new phaser flanger. That should be under pitch and modulation, I'm guessing. Phaser flanger. Let's put that on this. Yes, so phaser, flanger, and doubler are all one now. Let's take a listen. It's your phaser. Flanger and doubler. Right, so they're combining effects types together, which makes sense. Anything else? Chorus vibrato, we went through Redux. Dun. Yeah. So I guess for the most part, we want to go through MPE, but we need going through MPE with hardware will always be better than just going through it on the software. But if we can't get hardware, then we'll probably just have to take a look at it in the software. Yeah, and the new instruments and the new packs, when they are available, they're not available yet, so I cannot show them. The moment they are, we will, because these instruments and these packs will be a lot of fun. I know these are things you guys look forward to, the new sounds that you can play around with. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I'll call it for today's stream. I don't think I'll do anything more than this. Again, if you guys have any questions about anything, please to comment now and ask the questions that you have. Does Ableton 11 run on the M1 Mac? Yes, it does. It is very much compatible on the M1 Mac. There's a lot of testing going on in the M1 Macs. For now, it seems to be running pretty well, but there is some problem with the new packs, which is why they're not available and which is why they're not being viewed. But yes, they do run on the new M1 Macs. So yes, if you guys have any other questions, now is the time to ask your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a night on the stream. Again, if you guys have any questions, And if you remember, make sure to go to the Q&A forum section on our platform. We have a thread on Live 11 and the questions on Live 11. So if you have any questions on Live 11, I think this will become more active when more people are using Live 11. For now, a lot of people aren't using it because it's a closed beta. No, it's an open beta, but only so many people have access to it. So I think once you guys start using it, I think that's when the questions will start coming in. Yes, and as always, post your music, post your ideas, share your thoughts. We will play student music on stream at the beginning and just talk about what's going on before we get into making music. If you guys have any suggestions or things you would like us to talk about on these streams, let us know. I think next week, Nikhil is going to be breaking down some music, so next week we'll be doing some song deconstructions that you can go through with him, so that we'll be doing that next week. So if there are other topics, anything in specific you guys would like me to talk about or like us to talk about, we'll do that. You know, your feedback is important. So yes, again, hope you guys are having a good Thursday evening. Take care, stay safe, and I will catch you in tomorrow's stream. Peace.